very important that we are fair around here. And while I may come across very reactionary and very emotional, and, my heart is on my sleeve, I want to be fair. As much as I'm down on the Jets, as angry as I am off this past season, it, to me, was the most disappointing season in the history of the franchise. I don't want to just see a headline or read a paragraph and then scream and react to it angrily. I want to be fair. That's a New Year's resolution I have in 2024. So Mecole Hardman had a lot to say. Had a lot to say about the New York Jets. And I think it's only fair for me, for you, especially you as a former player that's been in a room I can't imagine being in. And for me, as a diehard fan, which you can't imagine being in that spot. We are very unique. I listen as a Jet fan. I hear stuff. I may get angry. I may get defensive. You, rightfully so, hear it as a guy that's been in the room. So what I think we all should do right now is listen briefly to Mecole Hardman. And then as Jet fans, as Giant fans, as non-football fans, you can formulate your own opinion on what he said and what it means. Maybe me and Tiki are going to agree. Maybe we're going to fight each other live in the studio. I don't know. So that's the way we're going to begin the show today. So let's start off by asking Mecole Hardman, who was on some podcast. I forget the name. I apologize. But I did listen to it.
The Pivot, Ryan Clark.
Oh, Ryan Clark. That's right. Ryan Clark was doing it. The Pivot. Let us start with Mecole. What went wrong for the Jets this season?
I just feel like it wasn't we were on the same page. Like, and I ain't trying to bash nobody like that, but it's like y'all treat certain guys that shouldn't be treated like they should be treated. And it's like, I don't understand where y'all feel like that I don't compare or I can't compete with any of these guys that y'all playing in front of me. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's not an established coaching staff there as well. Like, you just got a new coaching staff that came in, and like, it's no standard there. It's like everybody do what they want to do, and it's like whatever. Now, granted, the defense have a more of a stabilized standard with the coaching staff on that side. So you could tell the defense got a standard, but the offense is just like, all right, we've just figured it out. It's Aaron's show. Let Aaron do what Aaron do, you know what I mean? But then when Aaron go down, it's like, we don't know what to do. But this is that same coach staff that just was out of a job the previous year that averaged get a new job. Yeah. So I just feel like it follows or see what's going on.
So there are things he just said that piss me off, and then there are things that he said where I'm pissed off at Mecole Hardman.
Right.
So started off as the former player. What did you take out of what he just said?
First of all, it's a little convoluted, and it's hard to follow if you didn't know exactly what he was talking about because he's not mentioning anybody by name. Right, he's talking about coaching staffs or staffs that come together. One guy was out of a job last year.
Nate Hackett.
He's obviously talking about Nate Hackett, but why don't you just say Nate Hackett or say our offensive coordinator instead of leaving it up in the air? So I'm of two minds when I hear some of the stuff that Mecole Hardman said. One, I think he's right about some of these things, and I'll start with the things that I probably agree with him about, and then there's a lot of it I don't. So the Aaron Rodgers infatuation was real. I mean, we went over there as a show. I wasn't there that day, but I went the first week of training camp, first day, I think, of training camp. And it felt like that. Like they were enamored with Aaron Rodgers. You heard it on Hard Knocks when you hear, the defense talking about Aaron Rodgers and the offense talking about Aaron Rodgers. And it's like, oh, we got our savior. Like there was this infatuation with Aaron Rodgers over process, if that makes sense, right? When you have a process to how you're going to be successful, you install, you execute, you do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Everything kind of falls in line. Everybody's on the same page. But it almost felt like Aaron Rodgers was bigger than all of that. And when Aaron Rodgers gets lost or when you lose him for the season, I agree with what he's saying. Like the process was so convoluted, it couldn't ever get back on track.
Yes.
Now, with that being said, what he's talking about is the fact that he didn't play. What he's talking about is the fact that he had one reception in his, whatever it was, 8-9 games with the New York Jets. What he was talking about was that in what he thinks is a fair competition, he gets beat out, and he doesn't think he should have gotten beat out. But what I'm hearing is that he had no communication with this team or no relationship with the coaching staff. And he just assumed that because he was a big-time free agent who had won 2 Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs, that he was going to come in and be the man. I don't care what you've done. When you go someplace new, you got to reprove it. It's why I've always said, right? Nobody loves you like your mama, right? When you get drafted by a team, that team saw something in you. They specifically drafted you to fill a role, and if you do it well, you're gonna get celebrated. But when you go someplace else, like they don't have any. They don't. You have to prove it again. Right. And I think he didn't prove it to the Jets, or at least he thinks. At least I think he didn't prove it to the Jets, even though I think he said he was better than everybody. And so there's just there's a lack of communication that felt like was going on there, and it frustrated him, and it probably frustrated the Jets too, which is why they ultimately moved on from him.
See, no Jet fan gives a rat's ass about Mecole Hardman's feelings about playing time. But here's what we care about. Here's what concerns me. When he basically implies that the offense was a disorganized mess that had no backup plan for when Aaron Rodgers went down, that's something that as a Jet fan, we felt throughout the entire season. And so to hear a guy in the locker room confirm our biggest fears, that's a problem.
Right.
Like, I don't care about him not getting playing time. I don't think any of us care about that. No. But when he confirms our fears, that's when you look back and say, so we were right. So we as irrational fans were right that basically their offensive game plan was, we have Aaron Rodgers. That was the plan. And there was no backup plan for him going down.
Well, we're talking, you talk backup plan, you're talking about quarterback. But I think the circumstances just were not ideal coming into this season. So they fired their offensive coordinator or allow him to move on.
They fired him,
right.
Yes.
We know how it goes. They bring in Nate Hackett, and Nate basically brings one coach with him, and that was Zach Azzanni, who was the wide receiver coach. He was in Denver. Actually, he was in Denver prior to Nate getting to Denver, and when he left Denver and came to the Jets, he brought him with him. Everybody else, from Todd Downing, who was with the Titans the year before, to Rob Calabrese, who was already at the Jets before Nate got there, to Pat Bastian, who was a linebacker coach in college as an offensive assistant for the Jets, and Taylor Emery, who was with the Jets and prior to Nate getting there. Nate didn't have he didn't bring his staff.
So what does that mean? Is that an excuse?
No, it's not an excuse. It's just you have to understand that you have a new coordinator coming in who's going to do things his way because he's the offensive coordinator, and nobody knows his process.
Right.
And I'm going to keep using the word process because that's what matters most. You have to have a process going into training camp, going into the start of the regular season, going into every game, going into every third down situation, every goal-to-goal situation. You have to have a process. And if you don't, you're going to get screwed. And it felt like they never developed a process. And part of that is because there's no familiarity with the offensive staff. So part of what Mecole Hardman is saying, it resonates to me. I can see it. I can see why that would have become an issue, and him identifying it from, even though he's internally, an outside perspective makes sense because he's thinking of it in the context of what he had previously had with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, he's also,
which is a fulfilled and like clockwork process that Andy Reid has been implementing for a decade.
Yeah,
in
he
Kansas
went
City.
from the very best to what we kind of felt as Jet fans as a colossal mess. He went from Andy Reid run staff to Robert Saleh run staff. Because here's the other thing that also resonates with me. If I have a problem or if something's going wrong at WFAN, it really starts at the top. It starts with the architect. It starts with him.
Of course.
I wouldn't say it's all Loogie's fault or even all Spike's fault. No. It starts at the top. Robert Saleh is the top. I don't include Joe Douglas because as general manager, and we'll get to him and what he had to say, it's more about picking players and putting guys in position. But day to day, Robert Saleh runs the operation. So when I hear the defense is a standard and the offense is, all over the place, that's on Robert Saleh.
It is.
More so than Nate Hackett because Robert Saleh is the CEO.
It is. And behind all of that, all of what I just said, all of what you just said, is that an offense simply cannot function when your offensive line is compromised, when your offensive line sucks. Like the Jets did.
Is that the only reason why things went bad, though?
It's not the only reason.
It's a big reason,
but it is a contributing factor.
Of course, I agree.
Right? Think about it. Like from Laken Tomlinson, who they signed with great fanfare from San Francisco to just releasing him.
Yes, he played, but he stunk.
Right.
That's my evaluation of Laken Tomlinson. He went out and played, but he stunk.
Right. And then you get AVT gets hurt early on in the season because he's playing every position trying to fill holes. And when you have that many things go wrong, from new staff, not getting the process in order, a bad offensive line, a hurt quarterback, you tell me one team that has any chance of being successful, and I'm telling you, you're selling me a bridge in Brooklyn too. Right? It makes no sense that they would expect success when all of those things, everything that could have gone wrong, did go wrong.
Here's the second clip from Mecole Hardman, him lecturing us that he knows about winning.
This my thing was, y'all can't tell me about winning. I've been to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years, you know what I'm saying, now, you feel me? But beforehand, I've been to 4 AFC championships, I've been to 3 Super Bowls, I've won 2 of them. Like, I know what winning looks like.
Right.
I know what winning is. So y'all keep telling me certain things, it's like, I'm not going for that. Like, because y'all not doing it right. Like, we got hammers on the ground, we don't got no discipline, people feel like it's too many individual egos in this locker room or whatever, and I'm telling them, like, that's not going to get y'all to win. It's not going to happen. Because you step in the KC locker room, it's Pat, it's me, it's Trav, it's Nick Allegretti, it's Noah Drake. We all on the same level. Nobody's treated differently. If Coach Reed say we don't wear yellow cleats in practice, if Pat go out there and wear yellow cleats, Pat go back inside and change his cleats. Everybody treated the same. So it's like when we was out there, there was no really structure was going on. And obviously it's new coaches and stuff like that, but I'm trying to help y'all out. But y'all like, oh, whatever. Like,
is every player treated equally in the locker room?
Of course not. That's asinine.
So it's normal that Aaron Rodgers may have been treated a little bit differently than the backup tight end.
Dude, this happened throughout my career, right? With Jim Fossil, even with Coach Coughlin. Like, if you have to earn how you're treated. And I said this before, but when you go someplace and whether it's draft or free agency, you have to earn how you're treated. Right? The famous one, it's a cliche, is how Bill Parcells treated LT.
Oh, yeah.
Like, LT got away with everything, and he'd come in and still be LT. You just, all right, he's LT. We know he's going to produce.
And we think of Parcells as the ultimate, like, tough guy head coach.
Right. But when you have a guy who's going to give it to you, there's two ways that you get treated the right way. I'm putting that in quotes. You get treated the right way in an NFL locker room or an NFL organization. One is if you have a great relationship with your superior, whether that's your position coach, your offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator, or head coach. You have a good relationship to the point where they trust you to tell you what to do right and wrong, etc. Or you're just a flat-out baller. And if you're just beyond question the guy, you're going to get treated with ultimate respect. That's the biggest and most obvious way. And I think when I hear what he was talking about, you can't tell me about winning. Well, you can tell me about winning in Kansas City, sure. But this is not even close to the same situation. So now you don't even want to listen?
Well,
so it's almost like he's, I don't know, it's almost like he's conflating some stuff about success.
Here's what pisses me off, Mecole Hardman. I can't believe you're making me do this. You're going to make me defend Robert Saleh real hard right now, and here's how it's going to sound, Mecole. Your impact on winning in Kansas City was probably less than Robert Saleh's impact on winning in San Francisco. Robert Saleh ran a defense. You were made to look special because you play with Patrick Mahomes. Look, I don't think Robert Saleh is a very good head coach. And there were some buzzwords used by Mecole Hardman. That concerns me. Lack of discipline. You may have missed it. He said lack of discipline. Well, that's something all Jet fans are concerned about when it comes to Robert Saleh. And no, he has not won here. He has not won away from San Francisco. Well, guess what, Mecole? You didn't win a damn thing away from Kansas City. So stop walking around acting like you're Pat Mahomes. You're not Pat Mahomes. Or you're Travis Kelce. You're not Travis Kelce. And so what's bothered me is there are things in what he said that I will admit as a Jet fan worry me. There are many things that worry me as a Jet fan. But you know what's also pissing me off now on February 28th? Everybody wants to come out and take their turn taking shots at the Jets. whether it's Deion Dawkins or it's Mecole Hardman, with their own personal agendas. Deion Dawkins has an agenda because he got into a fight with Michael Clemens. Okay, fine. So you come out, you attack the entire defense. Now Mecole Hardman comes out. I want to make this clear. There are things he said that worry me. We'll get into it further. But overall, here's what I hear. A guy that couldn't wait to take his shots at the Jets. Couldn't wait to talk about his vendetta against the Jets.
You hate the Jets.
Trust me. I'll take care of ripping the Jets. Beningo will take care of ripping the Jets. BT will take care of ripping the Jets. Every Jet fan who listens to this radio station, who takes the time out of their day to call up, will make sure we make very clear what our worries are about the New York Jets. But what's starting to bother me now is I'm getting sick and tired of outsiders like Mecole Hardman and Deion Dawkins getting their pound of flesh. You have an agenda, bro. You have an agenda. You came here thinking you were a superstar. Here's what you were. You were one of those many Chicago Bulls in 1999 who got recycled around the NBA. You weren't winning championships. Michael Jordan was winning championships. You weren't winning titles. Scottie Pippen was winning titles. So you come to my team and act like you know about winning? What the hell do you know about winning? So don't take this as, oh, Evan believes in Robert Saleh. No. I'm just sick and tired of everyone else, and this is a common thing, and maybe you guys could explain to me why it's occurring, why everyone likes to take their shots at the Jets. Everyone likes to kind of get their pound of flesh. You too, Chuckles over there, and Sean. You're one of them. You're one of them.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. This is not a defense of the Jets.
Yeah.
This is more a, dude, enough.
It's interesting to think why fans of other teams would take shots at the Jets. And it's all because of the hype. It's all because of the Aaron Rodgers effect.
Okay, it didn't work. Dude, it didn't work last year. We accept that.
Hold on. I'm just talking about from a fan standpoint. I can see why a fan of the Buffalo Bills would take a shot. A fan, not a player.
Yeah.
A fan would take a shot at the Jets saying, oh, you guys had all this hype. Now look at you. Look, Aaron got hurt and you stunk. Right? Ha, 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 ha. Funny. Look at you. Look how you got egg on your face right now. I can see that from a fan standpoint. But I hear you on the player standpoint, especially for a player in Mecole Hardman who's a free agent. And he's not guaranteed to go back to the Kansas City Chiefs.
He didn't go back last year, and he's acting like he was such an important piece.
Right, and he's a free agent again, and here he is talking trash about one of the 31 other teams that might want to actually – he's not going to sign with the Jets, but you know what I mean. It just creates a bad look for yourself.
Well, you know what else is a bad look? You know what else is a really bad look? And you can tell me as a guy that's played that game, has laced it up, do you think refusing to play is a bad look? Here's Mecole Hardman explaining why he told the Jets, nah, I'm not going into the game.
I meet with you and you like, yeah, I'm going to get you some plays. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure you get involved in the game plan, but I play 2 plays. You can't tell me that. I'd rather you tell me I feel like these guys better than you and we'll figure you out later. I bet. I can take that. I'm a grown-ass man. I understand that. But when you keep telling me and feeding me lies and saying certain stuff, then that's what don't sit right with me because, like, I know for a fact I'm better than him for sure. Like, I ain't trying to, I know I'm better than him too. Garrett Wilson, the only person y'all should just be like, hey,
he can go.
He's one of them guys. So I have no problem with y'all putting around Garrett Wilson for sure. I don't care. Like, that's fine. But when it comes to certain other things, like, come on, like, I don't understand why I'm not in the rotation with that. And y'all never gave me a reason as to why either.
So he's upset.
I wonder if he asked.
You should. Wouldn't you ask if you want to know why you're not playing? By the way, I can tell you why you weren't playing. Maybe you're not that good. Maybe you're only that good with Pat Mahomes. Maybe that's the reason. But here's the real part that bothered me. Why he refused to enter a game as a member of the New York Jets.
So as a coach, if your star returner get hurt, you like, hey, listen, hey, Ron, I might need you this game. You know what I'm saying? Because, Zay hurt or whatever. So just in case he can't go, I need you to start back there for me, right? That's something you relate to your next person. You got to let them know. That's like if your QB hurt, you need to tell the backup, hey, I need you to take more extra reps this week because you might have to play this game. Right. That's what a coach does. Like, if you a coach, that's what you do. You in the National Football League, bro. You not in Pop Warner. You a coach. Right. You supposed to let people know that. Because if I'm not a star returner, my mindset ain't on returning in the game. It's not, unless I actually have to really do it. You know what I'm saying? So we get to the thing. Mind you, he got hurt on Wednesday. I didn't get talked to on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I have not one word to this man. Sunday on the field, we out there catching punts. I got pads on. We finna play. I'm catching out there catching punts. I'm on the knee. The team finna come out, especially the coordinator come to me. And like, hey, I need you to be the star returner in this game. I said, no. I'm not returning punts for you, bro. He told me, oh, you don't want to do it? No. Why would I want to return punts for you?
Why would you want to? Because you're an NFL player, dude. Because it's your job. Because your job is to play football. You were just bitching about how you think you're better than everyone but Garrett Wilson. Now your coach, Brant Boyers, who he's talking about, basically tells you, hey, you're going to return punts. Now, if you want to rip his bedside banner and say he didn't communicate, that's fine. You're probably right. You refuse to enter a game. So the guy who's bashing the Jets about how they're a bunch of losers, they don't know how to win, he's the guy who pulled a Zach Wilson before Zach Wilson pulled a Zach Wilson. He refused to enter a game. Now, you tell me, you accept that as a former NFL player?
Hell no. I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you're asked to do, even if you're not going to be great at it. And by the way, it's not like he's not a punt returner. It's not like he doesn't know. He just said he was returning punts, catching punts.
Yeah.
So he knows how to catch punts. It's just that he wasn't talked to before.
Yeah, it was disrespected.
So, I mean, to me, this sounds like a failure, a big failure. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Yes.
That's exactly what that sounds like. By the way,
that's
part
fine.
of that's on the coach.
Yeah.
Part of it's on him.
Well, look.
So if you know that someone might be hurt, you know that you could be back there returning punts. Coach, can I be up? Why are you not asking to return punch? I mean, when I was going through my struggles earlier in my career, I was like, Coach, put me anywhere. I'll be the best third down back in the league.
Paris Campbell did that for the Giants this year because he wasn't getting playing time. He said, just put me in returning.
Give me touches so I can return punts. I'll be the best one in the league. Let me return kickoffs. I'll be the best one in the league. But because he won 2 championships with the Kansas City Chiefs, he thinks he's above that?
Well, that's the thing.
You're not.
So if you're a Jet fan who's upset today because Mecole Hardman took major shots at the Jets that reinforces your worries about this coaching staff, I want to remind you that the man authoring this story refused to enter a game. He's also a man that, according to Sauce Gardner, even though he quickly deleted it, apparently decided to leak out the offensive game plan to the Philadelphia Eagles. Not that that mattered, because the Jets won the game anyway. So I'm mad as a Jet fan off of what happened last year. I think it's the biggest failure that this franchise has ever had. And we can spend a lot of time today talking about all our worries and concerns about the Jets, including what Joe Douglas had to say. But Mecole Hardman wants to come out and start a fight and act like he's Michael Jordan or he's Pat Mahomes? Kiss my ass, dude. Especially when you refuse to enter a game. Let that not be buried when Mecole Hardman makes all this news today. Don't let it get buried. When every headline says the Jets are undisciplined, when every headline says they had no plan under Aaron Rodgers. By the way, all that stuff's fair. But it's coming from a guy who just said it. I just played it for you. He refused to enter a game. Okay. That's the guy. So if you guys want to attack the Jets from the outside, keep attacking. Because guess what? You found a weird guy that's actually going to defend my team. Because I'm getting sick and tired of this crap from a Buffalo Bill and a former Chief and you.
Okay, fine, me. Let's be real, though, about these comments,
He
Evan.
actually hasn't said anything yet today, so I don't know if I should be mad.
You shouldn't.
Go ahead.
Wrong messenger, right message. I go back to training camp when we were there. The best teams coach themselves. Was Robert Saleh, relying on Aaron Rodgers and whoever else to tell Mecole Hardman he wasn't playing? I think this is what it comes back to.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a relationship with him. So this always comes to me. It's going to come back to relationships.
True.
I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care what you do in life. Relationships matter. And it sounded like he didn't have a good one with a lot of people.
Yeah, and it sounded like he came in abrasive. That's exactly it. I don't think Mecole Hardman should be defended in any way, shape, or form. I'm with Evan to a point. However, I do think behind the terrible messenger there is still an inherent message that's a problem with the Jets. And maybe, just maybe, as good a guy as Robert Saleh is, we're learning here, his communication skills are not very good or not to the, what you need to be an efficient NFL head coach.
We'll address that message and your calls coming up 877-337-6666.